Hey guys, welcome back to This African Perspective. Okay, guys, thank you all for stopping by. So, let's talk about the mass layoff that is going on because we are not going to pretend it's not happening. Okay, the mass layoff has been going on and it's going on, and I think that is like watching people's video and how they talk about how sad and horrible it is. Of course, like just listening to it, it's something that is very, very painful because most times people don't even see it coming. I think it is easier when you can see it coming, when you can see the layoff coming and you've been applying for a job like maybe a long time or days prior or months prior. But the situation where you are just you just wake up in the morning, you're like, oh, everything is fine, just for you to see that you're laid off. But I mean, being laid off in an economy that is good, where you can easily get another job and replace them. That might be better. But in this inflation, this serious inflation, oh my God! Like, and the job market, the amount of lack of jobs, and why do we even have the mass layoff in the first place in the beginning? It is definitely due to that. And there's like a pretense on saying that we're actually going through recession, which is something that we're going through, but mostly we don't want to talk about it and we just want to focus on inflation. Okay, let's say it so. But most of these companies do not even have they need to actually make sure that the CEOs have enough profit. So having so much employees, especially for some roles or positions that are actually can be easily gotten rid of in a company where you are not really needed that much, but you were kept there before, you'll be gone, especially the tech companies. But I don't want to tell you guys too much. Let us watch these videos and react. I'll react to these videos. But before we get right into it, I need you guys to please click the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new here, okay? I really appreciate you. And also, if you're not new here and you've been watching for so long and you refuse to subscribe, what is your problem? I'm just kidding, but subscribing is actually free, okay? Make sure you click the like button also and leave your thoughts in the comment section by the end of this video. Let's get right into it.
Okay, I know what you're thinking. This person looks young and slightly professional, and surely this young professional is employed and not sitting on a rock in the middle of Central Park during the middle of the day.
Ariana, what are you doing here?
Wrong. This is my public service announcement to my loyal 880 followers that I was laid off from my corporate job yesterday. It was part of a mass layoff, so nothing that I did. Ew, I just saw a rat. It is what it is at this point. But excited it's Thursday today. Excited to just chill Thursday, Friday, and through the weekend, and then hit the ground running on Monday. I feel really good right now. I'm fairly positive. Like, I think this might probably end up being one of the best things that ever happened to me in my career. It's gonna push me like out of my comfort zone, and I'm very excited. Just came to Central Park to like sit and reflect and just be thankful that my old job allowed me to move to New York and I get to be here and find a new job that is even more aligned with like my skills and my interests. And yeah, okay, I'm done being sappy. This also isn't as salacious as it could be, but just wanted to say that this is the start of my unemployment era. I will in fact be vlogging every day and just taking my TikTok along with me, because we all know that I can't do any basic tasks without filming a TikTok, so be prepared. Low-key, am I about to act like I'm a full-time content creator whilst I search for a job? Yes, I am. And if you don't like that, unfollow me, but please don't, because I need you. Okay, that's it. That's the tea. A little preview of my layoff content. This is Girl in Central Park.
Is anyone else's LinkedIn just an absolute hellscape of a ton of people getting laid off right now? Because that's what mine looks like. I had 12 of my old coworkers, former coworkers, people I used to work with, not all at the same organization, at various different organizations, all get laid off this week. Some with no notice, some with 2 days notice, some with same day notice. I also was recently affected by a round of layoffs, and it was completely a shock. We'd been promised that there was no layoffs coming, and then boom, layoffs. Like, what is happening right now? So I'm still seeing a whole bunch of people getting laid off on LinkedIn, a lot of whom have been with their company for several years. And one of the ones I wanted to cite, she'd been with that company for 8 years. It is a tech company. It's a product I've used before, and it's someone who I've worked with in the past, and she'd been there for 8 years. She was on PTO, and she got a text message of, "Hey, when are you free to talk?" Notably on her vacation, after she had received multiple texts from her other coworkers that they had gotten laid off. She kind of knew that that's what they wanted to talk about. And she was right. They wanted to lay her off while she was on PTO after she had been with that company for 8 years. And I know a lot of like boomers and older people are like, "Oh, millennials don't have any integrity and they don't have any loyalty." Why should we? We shouldn't. Companies don't have loyalty to us. When it comes down to it, that company will fire you if it's in their best interest, as in their stakeholders want to see higher profits. You gotta cut some people's salaries out. That's budget. And if it's to this company's advantages to cut you out, they will. They have no loyalty to you. They have loyalty to themselves. And as an employee, you should have loyalty to yourself too. Also, I want to highlight this. If your manager does not advocate for you, which good ones will, but if they don't, just know that that company does not deserve your loyalty. The soonest chance they get, or any sign of trouble, they will cut you loose. They will abandon you, and you'll be left without a job and without health insurance. And maybe you get a severance, even though that's not, like, deserved. I love the rhetoric that they put with that. We don't deserve to give you this, but we're gonna give it to you anyway because we're nice. Like, thanks. You just let me go with no notice, and I don't deserve, this however long a period that they give you severance for, but, you've just taken away my ability to make income and my health benefits, so, yeah, totally don't deserve that as a person living in capitalism, but just be loyal to yourself, that's all I'm trying to say. Be careful out there.
I absolutely believe that this needs to be said louder for the people in the back so they can understand that honestly, this is really true. Companies have no loyalty to you whatsoever. So you shouldn't have loyalty to them. And you shouldn't just stay in a place and feel so comfortable for years and years, because at any time they really don't care. That's the thing about it. And it is so sad to see this situation where people are a person that stayed in a company for so long, they've stayed there for years, they've been loyal to them, and then in one day they're like, "Oh, you know what, like, we're getting you out of here." So you two are supposed to not be loyal, you're supposed to not be faithful. At any time, if you find a place that is better, practice hypergamy with companies, okay? Leave, and if you find something better, go there. Don't feel like you need to be stuck in one place at all. No.
Who isn't getting laid off right now? Like, I just got another friend tell me that he's getting laid off. And like that's like 3 in a week. I feel like nobody's really talking about how the economy is heading into the shitter, and like I mean, everybody's been saying, eat the rich and corporate greed for the past 3-4 years, but the only reason why those companies were so freaking greedy is because money was free. And that's one of the problems that we've had. It's, Peter Schiff has been talking about this for years. And if we want change, we have to be talking about this stuff. We have to be communicating. It's getting personal, right? It's already getting personal, but we got to spread it out. Every day we should be talking about this.
I got laid off from my corporate job this week, the day before my vacation, so that's really fun. I had been with the company for 2 years. There were literally no indications that there were going to be layoffs on my team. I had a full workload. The CEO of the company actually had a meeting with everybody. We had an all hands a couple weeks ago, and he said, we weren't going to have promotions this year because he wanted to avoid having mass layoffs because the industry is doing so poorly. And he specifically called out like my division of the company for being like the only division that was going to hit their target. And I just like don't have any fucking trust for corporate America anymore. Like I have, like my trust is just gone, because how can you look at somebody and say like your division is the only one that's doing well, but we're not going to have layoffs, and then you have layoffs? Honestly, I'm feeling like back and forth about it. I feel a little bit embarrassed and like ashamed that I was laid off. Obviously, it doesn't feel good, but at the same time, I feel bad for the people who are still at the company and their workloads have now doubled. So I honestly would rather be in my situation than in a situation where you're giving so much to this company and they just don't care. And as much as these companies will say like that they care about their employees, they literally don't. Like they just don't. And I feel like a little bit of a clown, because I'm like, I gave this company so much. I canceled plans so that I could work late. Like you haven't had really much of a life for the past year, and I let this company just burn me into the ground. Like I am so burned out. And what do you get, you know? So I'm trying not to think about it this weekend. I'm trying to enjoy my vacation, but obviously it keeps like popping back up into my head, and I'm like, fuck, I don't have a job. So a little stressed, but yeah, life goes on, I guess.
Whenever people get laid off, at the end of the day, the people who are already working in that place, who are left behind, who maybe luckily did not get laid off, end up being the ones who actually have a lot of workload on them. They have to do more, they have to do extra, because the whole people who were already filling those positions and working are already gone. So in that situation, they would not increase your pay. Your pay is still going to remain the same, but you're still struggling and you're doing more than what you usually do, which I feel like the greed is just extreme, because most of all these things actually where they generate from. The main reason why a lot of these situations we're going through, it's like inflation and all, it's all rooted down to greediness. Because the greed is just extreme. Because I've been wondering sometimes, I'm like, if people already have like this huge amount of money that could live, like they could live with that money to maybe take care of them for the rest of their life, if they decide not to work, but they will still not be, it's never enough. Like this world, I think we're just living in a world where people can never be satisfied. Like that is something that nobody is ever satisfied. It's always wanting, they are always wanting more. People are always desiring for something else. As soon as they get what they asked for, they would want more.
So we've seen mass layoffs in 2023, and a lot of people wonder, why do these companies have mass layoffs but then rehire for the same positions? And you'll notice when they're letting all of these people go, they're calling it a restructure, not a downsizing, okay? So that's important to keep in mind when just simply understanding what this is about. It's a restructure, not a downsize. And they're not saying that to make the headlines seem less critical or make it look like their business isn't failing. It's because it's not failing. It's because it's an actual restructure. And a lot of people who watch professional sports already see this constantly all the time, but they have a hard time translating it from professional sports into the business world. And so professional sports world is a massive business world, a multi-billion-dollar business world, one of the largest industries. So why wouldn't we expect them to act similarly to what we see people act like in enterprise business? We would, and we do. And so what I would say is, have you noticed when teams had a lot of great players, they had some veteran players, but then their contracts expired and they allow them to go into free agency. They allow them to be hired by other teams. In fact, a lot of times they'll trade great players to other teams in order to get future draft picks. And for a lot of sports fans, this seems like, why are we doing this? Oh yeah, it's because we're preparing for a rebuild year or a rebuild series of years. And this is similar to a company restructuring. So sports teams do that to get rid of some of that salary cap where they have millions and millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars in single players. And so they get rid of those single players in order to bring on 5, 10, 15 new recruits, develop those recruits, and make them exceptional players that are getting paid a tenth of what the current veteran is getting paid. Okay, so you have a great quarterback. Well, let them retire or go back into free agency or trade them to another team. pick up 3 great quarterbacks, develop them, let 1 or 2 of them go that don't do well, and then grab the one who does really well. And now you've got the same value in your $10 million quarterback for a $1 million quarterback. It's a great cost-saving strategy. It may not feel good to the person getting traded or sent off into free agency, but it's really great for the team and building the team long-term. People seem to love this in the sports world, and they're on board with it. In the business world, companies do the exact same thing. They let some of these tenured 10, 15, 20-year employees that are making $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 go, and they bring on 50 new recruits, and they train them up, and they find the sharpest talent, and what do you know, in 2 to 3 years, they're getting the same output for a tenth of the cost.
Oh no, I'm devastated.
So I was laid off yesterday, and I just can't stop crying, and I just keep thinking about it. 6:30 a.m. My alarm went off. I normally don't wake up that early, but I actually set my alarm for 6:30 because I was trying to make myself shower before work. Didn't end up happening anyways, but I was trying to be hopeful. I checked my phone and I had an email stating that I had an urgent meeting at 8:30. So immediately I'm kind of freaking out. I try to go back to sleep. I'm tossing and turning. I hear my phone vibrate again and I check it. It's one of my coworkers telling me that a bunch of people have been laid off and telling me supervisors that have been laid off. So immediately I just know that's what it is. I can't go back to sleep. So until 8, I'm just pretty much laying there, just anxious, thinking about what the fuck I'm gonna do, right? 8 o'clock happens, I clock into work. I want to actually try to work for 30 minutes in case I'm not laid off, right? So, you know, what if I'm not laid off and then I just spent 30 minutes not actually working? I don't know. So I work 2 cases and I'm just a mess. I can't do it. My team has a group Zoom, so I go in there and we're just talking and I'm pretty much telling them I think I'm going to be laid off. We're just reminiscing and talking. So I go into the meeting and they hit me with, we have some devastating news. Your position is being moved to Mexico. I already knew it was coming, but it just hit me. They tell me it has nothing to do with your performance, which I know. I'm a good employee and I know that, but it's still really hard to hear. It takes all of 4 minutes. I'm told I have an hour to get personal things off my computer, say goodbye to everyone, and then that's it. I was there for 4 years. I was an extremely hard worker. I was extremely fucking loyal. I survived the layoffs during COVID. Doesn't matter.
So yeah, this is actually the sad truth and the sad reality of most people, and you can imagine the pain that they're actually feeling just being laid off from their jobs that they were doing, their livelihood, and possibly, you know, if it's even worse in a situation where people actually just, that person was living in maybe on paycheck to paycheck and they don't even have money and they don't really have like savings, and they're trying to search for another job and it's so difficult for them to get another job, especially when some people there are a lot of people who actually work in a company, they work there for long and maybe they don't have experiences, they haven't tried to, you know, get other things that they could actually do. It's just so much that, and such things actually could be so heartbreaking for many people that it could actually lead them into committing suicide, because they would just be thinking, what else are they gonna do? It's so much. But I mean, at the end of the day, just pick up yourself. Like, life have ups and downs, and even through the ups and downs, we should just continue striving, and hopefully someday things get better and, you know, life feels more, you know, fulfilling for everyone. But anyways, guys, that's it for this video. Thank you all for watching this video to the very end. I really appreciate having you here. But before you do leave, I would really, be so happy to see that you subscribe if you're new here, and if you haven't subscribed before, okay? And click the like button and leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think about this video and what your thoughts are and your experiences also with people that you might have heard it from, or if it's your personal experience. All right, guys, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.